had somebody comment asking about counting the calories and things like supplements, okay? And they're just asking questions. Asking questions is how you learn. How else will you figure any of this out if you have questions that don't get answered? So no hate to them. I'm not going to tag them. I'm not going to make this a big deal, but I do feel like it's a bigger picture that needs to be talked about. Two things can be true at once, okay? It is important to stay in your calorie goal. If you want to lose weight, you need to be in a calorie deficit. That's true. It's also true that all of this is an estimate, okay? There are so many variables that go into how many calories everything is, how many calories are burned by certain activities, like your body from day to day. There are so many variables. It is all an estimate. It's a good estimate. It's a reliable estimate, but it's still an estimate. Specifically, the probiotic I take, I don't think it has any calories in it. I don't count the calories if it does have calories, which I don't think it does. But they said, what if it has like 30 calories? Okay, so if it had 30 calories, personally, I would count it because I do like to have a bigger picture of how many calories I'm eating. That gives me a little bit of wiggle room for rounding errors of my own. That being said, 30 calories should not be make or break for you, okay? 30 calories is a rounding error. If you go outside of your deficit goal by 30 calories, that should not put you into maintenance. If it does, you probably weren't in much of a deficit anyway. I mean, 30 calories, if you were 30 calories under maintenance, that's still a deficit. Yeah, you still would lose weight. It would just be the tiny, like 30 calories is not enough to have seen any kind of a difference, okay? So 30 calories should not make or break what you're doing. If you're 30 calories into a surplus, you would have to do that for over 100 days before you would even see 1 pound change. You would have to do that for, what is it, like 115 days before you even gained a pound, okay? 30 calories is a rounding error. Everything about this is an estimate, okay? Getting so focused on every single detail is, number one, gonna make this not sustainable. It's gonna make this miserable. It's gonna make this a bigger deal than what it has to be. It's so important, in my opinion, to calm down, okay? And I know everybody hates to hear that. I hate to hear that too. But 30 calories is not that big of a deal, okay? Should you try to be perfect? Yeah, try your best. But when it comes down to a rounding error, do not freak out. I used to freak out. I used to think, well, I only have 100 calories left and a Nutri-Grain bar is 120 calories, and that, like, I could have that and that would make me feel a little bit better because I'm so hungry, but that's 20 calories over and I can't do that. 20 calories, that's nothing, okay? Now, would I count it? Of course. I want to know the bigger picture. It is a bit like knowing how many calories something is and how many calories you're consuming, to me, is important and makes this super easy for me, okay? But if you're going to be counting your calories and making this sustainable, you cannot get hung up on the little tiny things, okay? You have to keep the big picture in mind. And keeping the big picture in mind is why some people will do things like, I don't count the calories in vegetables. I count the calories in vegetables. It's important to me to have as close to the right answer as possible. I count the calories in it, okay? But it is such a small amount of calories that if somebody did end up eating 100 extra calories in vegetables, they would still be in a deficit if they are in any kind of a considerable deficit, right? So if you are trying to eat 500 calories under maintenance and you go over by 100 in vegetables that you don't count, you're still in a 400 calorie deficit. Does that make sense? Like, we cannot get so hung up on the little tiny details. Yes, the little things add up to the big things, but you have to have some wiggle room. And if you would not take an important supplement, like for me, doing a bottle of probiotics every now and then is important to me because I value my gut health. If I would forego that for saving 30 calories, to me, that has become a bigger problem. Throwing the baby out with the bathwater, okay? Because health should be the big thing. And those 30 extra calories are nothing compared to my gut health. Okay, does that make sense? I know I feel like I've gone over several different topics in this, but I think that it's really important. We need to quit trying to make a mountain out of a molehill and then forgetting all of the things that are important.